What's your take on the state of the Yang Gang? Like, do you think we're in a healthy state, in a transitional state? Like, what's your sense of the community?
Okay, so from what I've seen, there is different subgroups, if that's the way I want to word it. Within the Yang Gang, there's different pockets, right? They all advocate for Andrew Yang. They all want Andrew Yang, but there's different pockets. And you really see that if you were to go on Facebook, for instance, and go to different groups, like the Andrew Yang base camp and stuff like that. All very much different. All have different views. And yeah, we're definitely in different pockets, which was completely different than when he was running. I felt like we were definitely all on one accord.
Right.
It's not the same anymore. The end result is the same. They all want Andrew Yang, but there's definitely different pockets. And I mean, some groups I won't even enter in at this point, to be honest. So
it is, I noticed that too, in that when the campaign was going, we were all rowing in the same direction. And it was only a positive. It was like, wow, look how awesome this is. We have people from all kind of political and backgrounds and perspectives, and we all want, to just make America think harder, freedom dividend, democracy dollars. Like, we want this guy who's really smart. Yep. And then now you're really seeing that diversity where you're it's almost like, oh shoot, I didn't know you advocated this.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of an adjustment, for me as well, because I've seen some folks who are like, there's a camp that's the blow up the whole system camp, right?
Yep.
And I think I was on Twitter, and people were talking about like, oh, these suits, these people that work at big corporations, and and I was thinking, oh shit, that's they're not all that bad, guys. Come on now.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely
right.
Because Yang was a unity candidate. Elizabeth Warren tried to say she was a unity candidate. Wrong. But Yang was really a unity candidate. He crossed thresholds. So that's why we can have people like Trumper for Yang, right? Who I can say I agree with him on some things, but we don't see eye to eye on everything. But Yang united us. But then there are people who Yang united us, and then after he left, like, we don't agree on anything, right? Yeah. And it's quite interesting how he was that glue.
Yes.
And
I worry. I mean, on the one hand, it speaks to his ability to unify, and like, if he could pull such a disparate group of people together, like, imagine what he could potentially do in the White House.
Right.
On the other hand, I wonder, like, oh, well, what is the unifying principle for the Yang Gang if parts of us are so fired up in different directions? Like, obviously there's the whole Biden versus Trump versus dark horse duo kind of thing. What was your read on that kind of debate?
Well, the dark horse duo, I covered that on the channel, and I mean, I loved it, but I'm also a realist, and I didn't think it was going to happen. And I have to keep it real. I could have easily went on the channel and said, yes, this is going to happen. We got this. But I don't want to bullshit anybody watching. I was like, I love this idea, right? I didn't know much about what was going on. I kind of saw it a bit late, right? And so I watched it, internalized it, and I said, this sounds great, but I don't think it's going to happen. And it's not going to happen. Not in 2020. Not in 2020, unfortunately. It was a bit too late.
What do you think? You think Yang in 2024 should go for it within the within the Democratic Party again, or do you think he should go his own way?
So I covered this. Well, it was actually, would you vote for Yang if he was Republican? That was the video, and it got a really, really good reception. So on the surface, I said if he had the same solutions and he was saying the same rhetoric he was saying now, sure, because I identify as independent, so I don't play red versus blue. So if he's bringing the correct solutions, yeah, sure, I would. Or if he was independent or whatever you want to call it, and he's giving the same solutions, yeah, of course. It's really hard for a third-party candidate, the way the system is structured, for a third-party candidate to win. I do personally think he should continue to run on the Democratic side. I don't think the GOP, and I'm not talking about the everyday Susan everybody and Johnny know nothings. I'm talking about the establishment themselves. I don't think they would welcome a Yang because of his humanity first, the way he carries himself and the things he believes in. I don't think the GOP would quite appreciate it. That's just my personal opinion.
You think his style, or is it like specific positions, or?
He's very much for the people. He's for putting money in people's pockets. Let's look at the recent, give people money for this couple months during the pandemic. Yang was for that, right? Who wasn't for that?
Yeah,
Republicans. And even the Dems were finicky on it because they passed 5 stimulus bills, right? They only put the $1,200 in there once.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, they've been mentioning it as of late, but there's no reason for the Senate to approve it at this point. What do you got to give them? Unless you got something to give them, they're not going to put it in there. They don't give a fuck. So Yang's very much a humanitarian. He's very much humanity first. And I just don't see the GOP that way. I really don't. They're not showing me that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they haven't exhibited that lately. I don't know how much of that is like sort of the Trump effect, because, there was a time when the Republican Party was very much open to innovative, data-driven ideas that solve problems, that bypass sometimes a lot of government waste.
Yep.
And so I don't know, like you could argue basic income is as much a Republican idea as it could be a Democratic one.
It was. And there were, and the people were for it. That's why one of the reasons he was a unifying candidate. I know plenty of Republicans that were for. What's going on, James?
What up, James?
I hope you're not on the road typing this. Hope you're not driving and nerding. Fred the Felon does that shit too.
All the time. And I'm like, dude, this is scaring the crap out of me. Like I did the interview with him, and he was literally driving. I was like, dude,
come on, man.
I cannot watch you freaking drive into something on the live stream.
Well, Fred's not afraid of much. Like, so I can see him completely doing that. 100%.
Yeah. So
the party, I think the Republican Party has gone farther right. And the Democratic Party, for the most part, are like moderate Republicans. I mean, besides the far left like you've got some far left candidates in there, but like as a whole, I think they're moderate Republicans. Don't they approve everything almost the Republicans ask for?
Who are you?
Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden. They're not progressive.
All the different labels have changed dramatically. Like, I mean, my brother loves to give me crap for saying, "Hey, you're so pro Democrat now. You used to be a Republican."
Right. And
I'm like, well, frankly, I don't identify with this Republican Party anymore. It's not like my policy positions have changed that much. So what do you have any thoughts on the VP race? Like, who would you like to see Biden pick, or do you care?
I mean, okay. So how can I say this? Should I be politically correct? Nah. So I really don't care about the gender of the VP. It really absolutely means nothing to me. So like, I'm not sure like what we have to pick a woman VP is. Just pick the best person for the job. Like the gender is the icing on the cake, right? The ethnicity is the icing on the cake. I've always been about policies, right? So you can pick a woman of color and I can completely disagree with her policies and it's done nothing for me. It's always policies. That's what it always comes down to for me personally. Now I know that's not like that for everybody. Some people love, you know, vote based off of emotion. They vote based off of, you know, gender. They vote based off of ethnicity. All I care about is policies. What's going to help take this boot off of my neck? I don't need you to pander to me socially. I need you to help us economically, right? So I'll be completely honest. As far as like picking a woman and picking a certain gender and all that stuff, that honestly, that was on the back burner for me. I just want somebody that's going to help Biden make the right decision. So like being like, Stacey Abrams, I'm like, I that doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm guessing both of us would love to see Andrew there. I think it's kind of not going to happen, obviously, because Biden committed to picking a woman. Are there particular? So Stacey Abrams not doing much for you. I've watched her speak a few times. I feel like there was a lot of hype around her, but I don't really get that. Like, why?
Well, because she went like on sort of like a camp, like she wasn't considered yet, but she went like on a campaign, like interviewing like around all these places. I was never a Stacey Abrams fan, but what did it for me was I was covering the Tara Reade thing heavily. And so they asked Stacey about the Tara Reade issue. And she goes, I believe Biden. And the New York Times covered it and said what Stacey said, Tara said wasn't credible, and they debunked it. So I'm siding with Biden. I read that New York Times article. They never said such a thing, to the point where the New York Times came out and had to say, whoa. We never said anything like that. That's a complete lie. So she just like lied on camera in front of everybody just so she can side with Biden. And I'm like, come on. Like, so I don't know. I'm not a Stacey fan. I wasn't a Klobuchar fan, but she backed away because she says it should be a woman of color. So she backed away. Obviously, you know, my choice would have been Andrew Yang. I would have liked to see a Tulsi Gabbard. She's a woman of color, right? And she actually had a message, right? Ending the regime change wars. And I know not everybody's her fan, but I think she was a very strong candidate. She got the shaft because she completely decimated Kamala Harris. And so they were like, oh, we're done with her. But no, none of the people that's been touted have done anything for me, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah. Although I would pick all of them over Mike Pence. I find Mike Pence to be kind of like spineless.
He doesn't believe in science. So yeah. I don't want a Mike Pence. He's Trump without the mean tweets. So let's stay away from Pence.
Oh, by the way, James is he's in a dock. He's parked in the dock. He's getting loaded. He is not driving on the highway. Thank you, James. We appreciate you putting safety first. And when is your next live stream, Ronnie?
Next Sunday. It usually do it on Sunday. So next Sunday will be my next live stream. It'll be like 2 hours.
Right.
So everybody log in and to watch that. So it's tea with Ronnie. So I'll get some tea. I'll sip some tea, and we'll just I'll give him the straight dope, and we'll just chat it up for 2 hours. And the time goes by like this. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The time goes by like this. So next Sunday for sure, I promise you.
What kind of tea do you brew over there?
Every time it's different, right? So it could be black tea, it could be green tea. I might get some pomegranate. I mix it up, and I just sip tea.
You ever rock the bubble tea, the boba tea?
No, what's that?
Oh shit!
I don't know what boba tea is.
Oh,
am I late? God. Am I late?
Freaking hey, dude!
What's boba tea?
So it's basically like usually it's an iced tea with often the classic is a black tea with a little bit of milk, a little sugar, but they have these like little tapioca balls, and then you kind of drink it through like a large straw. So you get the tea and these like little tapioca things that are kind of like chewy, kind of, I don't know.
Where do you get it from? Like I go to Starbucks, Dunkin', Tim Hortons. Where do you get it?
Go to a bubble tea or boba tea place. Like they're specialized.
Okay.
But I'm guessing like if you're ever in the city, there should be a whole bunch of them.
Boba tea. I'm gonna have to try that now. It's on my bucket list now.
Brother, man, it is like when I was last in the Bay Area for Thanksgiving, I had boba like every other day. The one downside is that I think it does have there's some carbohydrates. It's not a slimming drink.
Okay. All right.
So I got a little bit of boba belly.
Boba belly.
Yeah. But it's worth it. It's worth it. So check it out.
I'll be honest. I was in the gym 5 days a week, but since quarantine and since the gyms have reopened, I have not gone to the gym. First of all, I can't see myself. I mean, I still got the, I'm still.
Oh yeah,
still, yeah, but I can't see myself lifting it with a mask on. I can't see myself on the bike or the treadmill. I feel like I'd pass out.
Yeah,
I don't see how I can do it with the mask.
I saw someone jogging the other day with the mask on, and I was like, "Whoa!"
And it's super hot over here. Well, LA is probably hot too, but I'm in Connecticut, and it's freaking hot over here right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe at nighttime, I guess you could get a run in.
Well, my gym, usually I would go at night, so my gym was 24 hours, but now they're on limited hours, so I'd have to go like in the afternoon when it's packed or in the morning. I just can't see myself with the mask on, like on the treadmill.
We need this vaccine, man. Need that shit.
So wait, so let me ask you: Are you? If they came to you and they said, "Tom, we've got this vaccine. We want you to be one of the first to take it." You taking it?
I would first do a little research and see if the EU and Germany has approved it.
Yep.
I'm a little bit concerned that there's a risk we're so eager to approve it before the election that I don't know, we may cut some corners. Yeah. But if the EU approves it and I do my research on the testing and the trials, then I probably would get it because I'm very eager to go back to like being able to live again. On the other hand, I get it. Like I get the risk that if we kind of are too, if we're not careful, that this vaccine may get pushed out too quickly. And that's why I was listening to this podcast with who was it? It was Axelrod. And he was saying the Obama campaign manager, and he was saying, or campaign advisor, he was saying, well, no matter what, a vaccine is going to be announced by Trump before Election Day. It's unclear. It's unclear if it will really be available or if it's safe.
That's not going to save him.
Yeah. I mean, he'll try it. He'll have like Kudlow talking about the booming economy, and he'll say now we have vaccine for everybody, the same way he said everybody could get a test within 3 minutes and all this.
Right. Look, if you would have asked me 4 or 5 months ago, I said Trump would have this in the bag. There was no way, Joe Biden was going to get on stage with Trump and have a good debate. Trump would eat him alive on stage. I feel like he's very aggressive. He's very good off the cuff. He's quick-witted when it comes to that sort of thing. So I said he's going to dismantle him on stage, but I really think he's dug his hole, and announcing a vaccine isn't going to help him either at this point. Just me. That's how I feel personally. I'm with you. I would do a lot of research before I took it because I do feel like they're trying to rush one out. I think it was like Bill and Melinda Gates that were saying like minorities, should take them first. They should take the vaccine first. I was like, hold on, calm down. Let's take it together. You go first. What the hell? What you mean? You take it first.
Yeah. I mean,
why are you looking woozy?
Clearly, it cannot drink the cup in front of me. So I do think in the long run that it will be a game changer, and it's not the first time that we've had vaccinations, right? But yeah, let's hopefully let's hold the Food and Drug Administration, accountable and make sure that they don't. I mean, if I worked in the FDA, I hope, and they get pressured to approve shit that's not ready, they should freaking quit and say, I will not do this.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
It doesn't matter if the president calls you himself. Like, do not cut freaking corners. Like, of course, we want to get out of this lockdown, but we don't want, to put something that's not ready, because then it becomes a huge problem for vaccinations in general, with people, maybe having like, a undue hesitation.
We're playing with people's lives, right?
Yeah.
So this can have long-term effects, taking the vaccine. There's a lot of things that can happen to people in the long run. So
I will say this, dude. I interviewed this pulmonologist who works in Northern Virginia, and she's like ICU board certified as well. And she was talking about this, the effects of the coronavirus. Yes, there's the mortality rate, which is fairly low. But what she was talking about was, even if you survive,
you still have after effects.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like your cells aren't able to transport like oxygen. There was like, and it's not just old folks in like nursing homes.
No,
she was talking like
young kids, people in their 20s. They're getting they're having strokes and things along those lines. I know 3 people that have passed from COVID-19 related issues, right? As a matter of fact, one of my old coworkers, now he's in his he's about to be 70, but his sister's in her 70s, his mom's in late 90s. His sister and his mom both got it. His sister passed away. Okay, his mom beat it. His mom's in her late 90s, right?
Wow.
And she beat it. He goes, my mom's a pit bull, but his sister passed from it. And obviously they're both older people, but then I know younger people that's gotten it too, and their voice doesn't even sound the same. They don't have it anymore, but their voice, like it has long-term effects on your body, not just your lungs, but your body. This is no joke.